and Marisa Barrett. So please go ahead.
What a joy to be an inspiration for like a whole celebration of sweethearts. That's really neat. So you all pretty much heard our story, so I'm not going to take up a whole lot of time, but let's see, we met probably almost half a decade ago, around there. And we were introduced by a friend, and then we just, with Dawn's speech disorder, I've spent a fair amount of time working with relatives who have had a similar kind of issue. So I became kind of a fast kind of study of his language, should we say. And so we spent a great deal of time together, and our relationship, it just developed over the years into what is now a marriage. So
1-year marriage.
it took a while, but it got there over the course of, I'd say, three and a half years, something like that. So I don't know if Don wants to say anything, but
Mareesa is a good, excellent attorney. Is a teacher that is. I love music. I love music to her, and because he understands me, difficult to do. He's angel, angels, that's a C. C angel. And I love her too. Yeah.
thank you. His was better than mine. I need to get my attorney off and sweetheart hat on. It's hard. I'm at my office. Okay. So I think that's it. I don't have, we were married, I should say we were married almost 2 years ago now. So, and that was a COVID wedding. So, you know, one of the ones you hear about where everything was kind of virtual. So, yeah. Right.
Thank you. Thank you, Marisa and Dawn.
About some new members. So this is our first new member spotlight of the year. So we're going to have Dawn and Marisa Barrett, and so they're going to tell us a little bit about themselves, and we're going to hear all this. She's got a PowerPoint, so let's give them a warm welcome. Come on up.
So I'm going to be doing most of the talking because Dawn was in an accident about 7.5 years ago that left him, excuse me, this will be better if I take that off, with a speech condition called aphasia. So for the first few months of the accident, he couldn't speak, read, or write at all. But he's greatly improved. So sometimes he has a difficulty saying what he is thinking or wants to say because the words don't form, but he knows what he's thinking. That's what you're saying. So in any case, so we have a PowerPoint that I think John is going to be putting up.
I gotta find it. We did a lot today.
While he's finding it, I'll just go forward. So just a bit of background about us. Dawn was born in Chicago, Illinois, and I was born in Davenport, Iowa. I was raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, and summered in, you can go to the next one because I'm past this now, but I spent summers in Minnesota. So Dawn has 2 biological sons, David and Sean, and 1 adopted son, Gary. He has 2 granddaughters, Oceana and Nirvana. I have 1 daughter, Sophia. Don graduated from, there we are. Don graduated from Chicago Northwestern University with a Bachelor of Science degree in journalism and a master's degree in marketing. He then briefly served in Vietnam, where he was in the Army, and his claim is that what he remembers most is experimenting with drugs. So sad. You can go to the next slide. If you can get it there. I graduated from the University of Utah with a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy and Spanish, and then went on to Lewis and Clark College, where I obtained a Juris Doctorate, and also during that time, I studied Spanish at the University of Salamanca in Salamanca, Spain, and international law in at Cambridge University in Cambridge, England. And then, let's see, you can go to the next one. Don started his career working at Chicago and Northwestern Railway Company in marketing. He also worked briefly at the Chicago Board of Trade, as well as a similar job in Minnesota. He spent most of his career working all over the United States and at times internationally with railroad companies, including these you see, Southern Pacific, Union Pacific, and Conrail. And then he ultimately retired from Willamette Industries and Weyerhaeuser as a director of logistics. So throughout his career, all told, he was a salesman, a marketer, a teacher, a computer programmer, and he ultimately taught others to use the computer network he programmed to further the logistical needs all over the world, including as to water vessels, trucks, and the railroad. So during all of this, Don lived in many different states and countries, including, there's a long list, Arkansas, California, Illinois, Iowa, Louisiana, Minnesota, New York, New Jersey, North Carolina, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Washington, and Wisconsin, as well as Canada, London, and Mexico.
Wow.
So he was kind of all over. Yeah. Okay. The next one. I started my career assisting and in the running of a nonprofit education organization and program called the National Academic League, which was co-founded by the U.S. former Secretary of Education under Reagan and my mother. This program is still going. It's in its 29th year of operation. And then concurrently with that, I spent the majority of my career working in the legal field in a variety of contexts, including as a judicial clerk on the Alaska Court of Appeals, and then practicing law in various firms in Portland and Seattle, acting as in-house counsel for various health and other organizations, including at one time a poultry company. And I currently run a firm here that's based in Portland and Newport. So my specialties have included, some are up there, health and hospital law, general corporate law, energy, regulatory and compliance, and some family and immigration and other kind of personal types of law. So I haven't lived as many places as Don, but my career has brought me from, let's see, Utah, Alaska, Georgia, Hawaii, Oregon, and Washington, which is why I still have a cell phone that has an 808 number. I can't seem to leave Hawaii totally. So let's go to the next one. Our hobbies, Don and I have lots of hobbies, and they've varied over the years. So you can see them up there, art and jazz and the performing arts and hiking and tennis and golf and music. And I used to be a triathlete. I like to pretend I still am, but not as much. So most recently, we have gotten a boat, a 34-foot cruiser, which we are learning to operate. And we hope to bring whale watching and crabbing sometime soon. So if anyone knows how to do any of those things, just let me know. Yes, so let's see, the next one. We have both been actively involved in community service and volunteer work over many years. Don was very involved in the Special Olympics in Portland and Bend. When his kids were young, it was a family tradition for him to serve meals to the homeless. And in the last few years, he was doing that in Portland at the Blanchett House and First Baptist Church. He also helped serve meals at the Union Gospel Mission at Christmas. He volunteered at Good Samaritan Hospital in Portland, Oregon, to support individuals who were recovering from strokes. And this Thanksgiving, he helped Major Raymond at the Salvation Army here with some toys and meals, and hopes to do more of that in the future. He has, especially following his accident where he had a near-death experience, and his recovery was something of, some might say, a miracle. That was certainly against all odds. It has changed his life significantly, and his focus has become really a connection with his religion and his commitment to forgiveness, love, and compassion as a result. So he spends a lot of time trying to give back to the community. I try to give back to the community too, and over the last, I guess, 30 years, I've been involved in family support centers, teaching English as a second language, acting as a court-appointed special advocate during law school, delivering food through Second Harvest in Georgia, through North Fulton Community Charities, and then, of course, I've been on a few boards, including currently the National Academic League and Morrison Child and Family Services, Northwestern Business for Culture and the Arts, and Profile Theater Project for several years. So next slide. Rotary, why Rotary? So we just, with our background in community service, we both just felt like the goals of and mission of Rotary were very much in line with what we both have committed ourselves to over many years. And we just listed, some of them here: the service above self, one profits more, most who serves best, and just kind of the general concepts of promoting peace, fighting disease, supporting education, protecting the environment, growing local economies, and saving mothers and children, which we got from the website, but those just were all in line. And also we moved primarily here over the last year from Vancouver, Washington, where we were living. And we just wanted to get more involved in the community. So we just both have always been involved in the community in one way or another. And both of our families have a long history of involvement in community organizations. His father was I don't know if I'm going to get this right, exalted ruler of the Elks Club in Oak Park, Chicago, way back, and an attorney. And then my mother and I have worked tirelessly in the National Academic League for almost 30 years. But she also was kind of a pioneer in the education system and helped to better the education system both nationally and internationally in United Arab Emirates and England, some colleges there. So that's kind of us, that's our background. Do you have anything to add that I missed?
Her family is so silly. She says, is involved in an accident in Santa Monica. I don't know, read or speak all. I don't know her anything is suicide. But I got Jesus. Jesus appeared to me is Jewish and black. And it's part of his birthday. I wanted to say that because I want to help others, forgive, and help homeless and orphan and widows. That's what I said. A miracle. I am a miracle. I'm good to you. I'm really good to you. Yes, thank you.
So, questions?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, I don't know what we have for time,
Good,
but
good.
yeah.
Okay, well,
Okay.
first, I'll just be real quick. I really want to thank you for being our first new member speakers, and you did an excellent job. I'm so impressed with both of you. And I have just a couple of questions. One is, Keith is not my first husband. Don, from what you said, is not your first husband. How long have you been together, and how did you meet each other? Quickly.
So we met one another in Portland almost half a decade ago, and just a friend introduced me to him and said that he needed some help just with some communication back and forth with some things that he was working on. And I have a history. I have a family member who had aphasia, so I was familiar with the condition and able to communicate with him potentially in ways that someone else might not have been prepared to do or understand how to do initially. So we met like that, and then it just kind of slowly grew into a marriage. So and we were married a little over a year and a half ago. Yeah. So
Like an attorney. He's Marisa, attorney.
he keeps wanting to call me his attorney, and I keep telling him I can't be. So
Yeah.
yeah. Does anyone else have questions or?
Well, you two are certainly welcome here. We're glad you're here. A wonderful presentation, like Diane said, that was perfect. I mean, just really spelled out, those things. And gosh, if everybody in this room doesn't have one thing in common or some way to talk to them or some shared interest, I would be blasted away. I just couldn't believe that would be the case. But great job on that. In your